Do you currently have a plan on what you're trying to achieve in life just now? Many people who are successful will be able to tell you almost all day, if you ask them, why are you doing that? They will give you an exact reason because it will formulate part of their plan. People who are unsuccessful quite often will say, I don't know. Do you currently have a plan for what you are working on just now? If I stopped you just now and asked, why are you doing what you are doing, would you have a reason for it? Many people fail in their success because they do not have a plan. Recent studies showed that only 8% of people achieve their New Year's resolutions. Another study at Harvard also showed that only 3% of people achieved their plan because they had a detailed, written down plan with goals and actionable steps. I had a discussion recently with a friend where we were discussing what her overall objectives were, what her goal was, what her business plan was. We then went to discuss newsletters and various other things. She had a business plan and she thought doing a newsletter or a blog would be a good idea. I agree, it is a good idea. However, where does that fit into her business plan? Where does that fit into what she wants to achieve at the end? It didn't really fit into anything. The next question we discussed, or the next thing we were discussing about, what would the newsletter be about? And she said, I don't know. Then we had this discussion about creating a plan where we would create an end goal, work backwards, working out all the objectives, and then we'd look at one of the things which might be growing your social media. As part of growing the social media, then we would look at doing a newsletter, a daily or weekly blog. We would do more short form content, maybe longer content on YouTube. All these different things. Specifically about the newsletter, then we discussed with the newsletter, if you had a clear business plan or a clear plan of attack of how you're going to achieve all your objectives, you would know the answer to your newsletter. Is the newsletter a good idea? Yes, because it is part of my business plan. Within that newsletter, you would also have your answers. What's the newsletter going to be about? Well, I made the newsletter because I'm trying to attract more people to my brand, to show them more about my personal side, to show them more about my methods. I wanted to build trust. I wanted to attract more people to see really what I do. And I wanted to be able to share more details about everything, not only verbally, but written down as well. So I could share the newsletter with a video attached so they could see me speaking and they could see all the information. That's a really good idea. Then you would have the answer of, how are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to start off because I'm going to introduce myself. Then I'm going to explain some of my methods, and then I'm going to explain other things. And from this business plan, you've worked backwards and answered all your questions. Without this business plan or goals or SMART goals or breaking anything down, it is, okay, I'm just going to do a newsletter. And somebody would say to you, why are you doing a newsletter? I'm not sure. What's the newsletter about? I'm not sure yet. Once you have that business plan, this was just about one specific newsletter, but this is the same in anything in business or fitness or any goals in general, even if it's work related. If you have clear actionable steps, anytime somebody says to you, why are you working on this? You should be able to turn around and say, I am doing this because X, Y, and Z. This works into my business plan and this will help me achieve my goals. Oh, great. This also takes away any of the time where you're sitting there procrastinating, wondering, why am I doing this? Losing motivation. Any of these things that come in that quite often stop people being successful. Because you have a plan in place, you just follow step by step, and as long as your plan is good, well thought, and you continue on that plan and you believe in it, you have a very high chance of achieving your goals, or if not, you will get very close to them, and at least you have tried your hardest, and you cannot doubt yourself for the effort and the planning that has went into you potentially being successful. So ask yourself again, anytime you go to do something, whether it's posting online, going to the gym, eating something, why am I doing this? If you can't answer that question, I would maybe consider if it's the right thing to do. Maybe step back, have a clear plan, and think about, what are my goals? What are my objectives? How I'm going to achieve that goal. One of the templates I like to use for achieving my goals is the SMART template, where it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and it has a time frame. It needs to be specific because you need to know what you are working towards. It needs to be measurable so you can track your progress and you know when you've achieved your goal. It needs to be attainable because you need to know within your mental and physical power and your financial and time constraints, you can achieve that goal. It needs to be relevant. If it's a goal or an objective to achieve your overall goal, it needs to be relevant to what you actually want to achieve. And the time frame, you need to know a time frame so you can set goals and check you have met them within the time frame. But the time frame also has to be realistic and meet all the rest of the SMART objectives. After you've made SMART goals, and if I asked you again, why are you doing this? You should clearly be able to tell me, I am doing this because this is one of my objectives that will help me achieve my goals. Once you take this approach in life, everything becomes simple and very easy. It removes procrastinating. It removes sitting there wondering, why am I doing things? You can get up in the morning, you can have a things to do list of things that will help you achieve your goals. When you use this approach, it is highly likely, as all the studies show, that you're going to be successful. Try it. Tell me below, what are your SMART goals? What are your life goals? And what are the objectives that are going to help you meet them? One of the key things with my plan that I like to introduce is I'll write the overall goal at the top, and I will have bubbles coming underneath that of how I will achieve that goal. The smaller steps, which I like to call objectives. I keep doing the bubbles all the way down until I can't ask anymore, how will I achieve this? Once I have reached this, I will then go back and visit my goals, and I will branch off for each one, breaking into little steps and information I need to know on how I will achieve that specific part of my objectives. If you do that with each one of them, you can then start at the bottom and work your way up to your goal with clear steps and information and instructions on how you will achieve that goal. Very simple, and with this process you are highly likely to succeed. Good luck. Tell me below, what are your goals and how will you achieve them?